From greed, I'm finally shedding light on the #1 deadly sin that's plaguing mainstream Western media and the core of the problem in my eyes, pride. The famous ancient thinker Saint Augustine once said, "It was pride that changed angels into devils. It is humility that makes man as angels." The pride to be right seems to be turning Western media and political establishment into devils who see China's peaceful rise as a pacing thread. Chinese senior officials' recent visit to the South Pacific, for instance, is seen not just as a threat to Australia, but also to journalism in the region. China is said to be the reason why Japan is turning away from post-World War II pacifism, and Russia's being an independent country is reportedly potentially subordinate itself to China, thus posing a threat to Japan. And the list of such headlines goes on and on. Such narratives are increasingly dominating China-related reports, especially after the U.S. Secretary of State labeled China the most serious long-term threat to the current international order.
Now, China is seen as a quote-unquote threat, and I think that's where a lot of this negativity comes from.
Pride goes once again to American exceptionalism. I mean, it's this idea that we're absolutely right, that we can't be wrong, that everything that we do. But the reality is that as we speak, trust in the United States has gone down to an all-time low. They have no faith in their government. They have no faith that things are getting better. Pride is literally killing us. We cannot see beyond our own faults.
The opposite of pride is humility, which allows people to be open-minded to new ideas and experiences. Despite the enormous socio-economic progress China has made, it has become politically incorrect in the West to acknowledge China can do something right.
You can hear the phrase, "at what cost?" So China's eliminated poverty, but at what cost? China is providing free vegetables to citizens in lockdown to save their lives from COVID, but at what cost? And so you can really see a laziness in the way in which the media are just dutifully following basically a political line which is dictated from the White House.
Such a mentality seems deeply entrenched in the minds of Western journalists and editors, including those in the visual department. Positive images of China are hard to come by on Western media these days. These photos showing Chinese sports champions have caused furor among Chinese viewers for obvious reasons. That may explain why those who set foot in the country would find a completely different country from what they were told before.
They have honestly done a stellar job with the whole COVID protocol. I didn't really know what to expect. Being stateside, you kind of heard some pretty bad media, and that is completely false. It's actually been phenomenal.
As much as Western journalists pride themselves as the fourth estate, but the reality is over 1 million people have died in the US of COVID-19 and counting. Nobody has been held accountable. There may be conscientious voices asking the difficult questions, but they have apparently not made a real difference. Something to be proud of? In all fairness, China is by far not perfect, but has gotten more than its fair share of criticism in overseas media for being different and trying to keep it that way. In the foreseeable future, as long as the US is obsessed with competing with China, we may see more manifestation of the 7 deadly sins I have listed. Pride in being right and better, greed for attention, lust for control, envy of success, gluttony for toxic sources, self-defeating wrath, and sloth in critical engagement. Just bear in mind, the real picture might be very different. Next time, when you come across a report on China, will you know any better?